David moves from personal petition to a wider vision, placing his own need within the larger truth of who God is among the nations. Among the gods there is none like unto thee, O Lord, neither are there any works like unto thy works. Psalm 86, verse 8. David declares God's absolute uniqueness, comparing him to the so-called gods of the surrounding nations. These idols have no power and no answer for the nations that serve them. David does not say God is better than these gods. He says there is no likeness between them at all. Isaiah later echoes this same truth, mocking idols that must be carried because they cannot walk. This verse establishes that David's confidence rests on a God who stands alone, without equal, his works unmatched by any false god men have invented. All nations whom thou hast made shall come and worship before thee, O Lord, and shall glorify thy name. Psalm 86, verse 9. David extends his praise beyond Israel to every nation, declaring that God made them all and that all will eventually worship him. This verse looks forward to the great gathering described in Revelation 7, verse 9, where a multitude from every nation stands before the throne. David's prayer, though personal, opens into a vision of worldwide worship. The conviction of missions finds an early root here. God's redemptive plan has always reached toward all peoples, not just one nation. For thou art great and doest wondrous things. Thou art God alone. Psalm 86, verse 10. David returns to plain declaration, stating God's greatness and his wondrous works as evidence of his singular identity. The phrase, "Thou art God alone," leaves no room for rivals. David's theology is not abstract. His wonder rests on the miraculous things God has done. This verse reminds believers that doctrine and testimony belong together, as sound belief in God's greatness comes paired with a life that has witnessed his works firsthand. Teach me thy way, O Lord. I will walk in thy truth. Unite my heart to fear thy name. Psalm 86, verse 11. David shifts from praise to petition, asking God to teach him and give him an undivided heart. The phrase, "unite my heart," reveals David's awareness of his own divided affections, a heart pulled toward competing loyalties. He does not ask for information alone, but for a heart fixed on reverencing God's name. This prayer speaks to the believer's ongoing struggle against distraction and half-hearted devotion, asking God to do the deep work only He can accomplish within the soul. I will praise Thee, O Lord my God, with all my heart, and I will glorify Thy name forevermore. Psalm 86, verse 12. David commits to wholehearted praise, using the phrase, "with all my heart," to show total, undivided worship rather than partial devotion. He vows to glorify God's name forevermore, extending his commitment beyond the present crisis into permanent practice. This verse shows that genuine praise is not a passing emotion tied to circumstances, but a lasting devotion grounded in who God is. For great is thy mercy toward me, and thou hast delivered my soul from the lowest hell. Psalm 86, verse 13. David closes this section by testifying to God's mercy already received, describing deliverance from the lowest hell, language pointing to the depths of death and destruction. David does not just hope for future rescue, he testifies to rescue already accomplished. This verse anchors the entire prayer in personal experience, showing that David's confidence for the future flows from God's proven mercy in the past.